Welcome to a 90 Minutes podcast. Short and crew tonight. A couple guys are out. Ahmed, I think, is on a business trip, and Misael has some problems with his electricity. So Misael may be on later. Well, let's wait and see. But with me tonight is David. Back to the OG crew here tonight. Just the two
Pretty
of us.
much, yeah.
How you doing, David?
Doing good, my brother. Pulling double duty with for the benefit of those in audio. I got Ivy in one hand, drinking her milk, and on the other one, podcasting. So, part of the magic of having four people is reduces my time on the microphone to do other things on the background. But tonight, like John said, is back to the old ways of doing things. Hopefully, it will be of your liking.
Definitely. Before we get kicked off, don't forget to, if you guys have any questions or comments, to add into the comments. We will respond to them as needed. Try to put them on the screen as soon as possible. Apparently, the chat on X does not show up. So if you are watching on X, I'll try to monitor that a little bit better tonight, or just hop over on our YouTube. The link's right there in our bio on all of our socials. And for those of you wanting to follow the club a little more closely, we post everything, repost the club, everything the club posts. With our handle is in 90 minutes, and we're on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Blue Sky, and then we're live every Monday on YouTube, Facebook, X. We try to be on Instagram with Ahmed being out. He's the Instagram professional and knows how to get the live onto there. Unfortunately, David and I are not able to figure it out. So please please follow along, subscribe to our channels. So we'll move right along. The Pride was off this weekend. It's an international break for the NWSL, so no Pride news. Really, as far as matches go, I do know they had a couple signed extensions and such this past week. So, from what I know, nothing really there. But we do have a lot to cover tonight. Orlando City B played two matches in the last week. The same with the senior team played two matches in the last week. So we'll just go ahead and get started with Orlando City B and their match last week against Toronto FC2.
Not their best outing, if I may say so. But it's an OCB that has been depleted at the fact that we have so many players either playing with the first team or playing in tournaments. It's a year of transitions. It's a year where you know the most talented players are somewhere else. So it's a true reserves team this year.
Definitely. Yeah, it was a 2-1 score. Like David said, not our best performance. We were missing a lot of guys on the team. Um, Defensively, we were missing Zachariah Taifi and Thomas Williams. In the attack, we were missing Caraballo and I can't think. I think we were missing two other guys that I cannot recall their name right now. So
I
not
believe Alice and Caraballo, if you did not mention them.
I said Caraballo, Ellis, and then the midfielder. Um, I can't remember his name right now. I keep wanting to say Platts, but that's not who it was. Tough match. The boys fought it out, fought till the very end. Obviously, they tied it up before halftime, and then Toronto was able to sneak one in, late in the match with about 11, 12 minutes left. And, like David said, it's the Orlando City Bees depleted right now, which is a good thing. Depleted because we've moved players up to see more senior team action, whether it be, mainly substituting, but, we need depth on the senior team. That's the goal of a reserve squad is to provide that depth either immediately or in a couple years, and these players very young players. What the oldest is Typhy, and he's 19, I believe. Out of the players that we've been bringing up from Orlando City B, so it's a good thing if you can include Thomas Williams on that, even though he's had multiple senior team appearances in the past, but he's only I think he'll be 22 this year. Still, very young. I mean, look at what Janssen's doing, and Janssen's 12 years older than him. So, we always say on the show, exciting to see. Unfortunately, the last little bit, the results haven't been there like they should have been. And then just earlier today, they did play Philadelphia Union 2, 1-1 draw. We took the early lead. David watched most of the match. I had a crazy day at work and didn't even realize that it was on. Instead, I had the Club World Cup on in the background. So, David, you want to take this one?
Yeah, for sure. Incredible goal from a corner kick. Unfortunately, we surrender a very poorly cleared goal to tie it. We had the chance to win it. Unfortunately, last minute off the line clearance. Um, I believe Mercado it was the goalkeeper. I had a triple save that I am pretty darn sure is gonna make the rounds once the social media guy for MLS Next piles up all the footage for the day. Impressive, incredible. And again, for those that are not familiar, in MLS Next Pro, they sort of do a shootout like in hockey, where if you win it, you get an extra point. So Philadelphia gets the 2 points, we get one. And I will repeat the words from our front office. The purpose of OCB is not to win games, is to incubate talent, and they have done that very, 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 very well. Uh, it sucks. I want to win everything. If Orlando City players are playing, hacky sack, I want them to win that. That's how it is. But great effort from the boys, and we move on. That's the theme of the week, I guess.
Absolutely, absolutely. And before we do move on, just a little news on Alex Freeman for those that weren't able to catch the U.S. men's national team match or doesn't really follow the national team, only follows Orlando City. Um, the U.S. won in penalties yesterday. Freeman was the uh, fourth man on to take a kick, and absolutely stared down Kaylor Navas. Navas is a living legend of the game. Played at Real Madrid, won at least one Champions League, if not two or three. Um, Probably one of the best, definitely one of the best goalkeepers ever in CONCACAF. Freeman, based on the video, just stared him down. Navas was doing what goalkeepers do during penalty kicks and dancing and trying to get him to cheat one way or another. And Freeman, showed why MLS Next Pro, put in the penalty system after a draw, and that's because of situations like he was in yesterday. And slotted in, he has one of those slow, kind of quick and then slows down run ups, and Navas never committed one way or the other, and Freeman slotted it into the side to it was potentially to give the U.S. a lead, or to potentially give the U.S. a win, after Freeze, the U.S. goalkeeper, blocked. I think it was the next one, and then the Hobbit from New York Red Bulls, John Tolking, had his blocked. And then the U.S. ended up winning it. Matt Freeze he's another. Most of the guys on the national team right now play in the MLS. And Matt Freeze, I think he's with New York City FC.
NYC.
Yeah. NYCFC. He's staked his claim on the starting spot for the World Cup next year, and we've all seen what's happened to guys that have come about in CONCACAF tournaments for the national team. Matt Turner being one of them. He went over and signed with Chelsea, and he's been jumping around Europe and since then. And I foresee the same thing happening with Freeze, where he's had one mistake match before this past one, but other than that, he's been extremely solid. All right, and now we get to the senior team. We've had two matches this past week. First, we started with away at St. Louis after 10 days off, and went into St. Louis and took care of business. A lot to unwrap in this match. So, David, go ahead and take it away. And
Sure. Uh, Basically, first for our first time visiting St. Louis, people that were there were telling me that it was super hot. I lived in Oklahoma briefly, and I can tell you that part of the country in the summertime, the heat is it's like when you open your dryer, that blast of heat that you get, it's like that. Here in Florida, we can't complain about heat, but we have a lot of humidity and the sea breeze, something that they don't have in the center of the country. And so it was a big test for our boys. The fact that we went up, I believe it was 3-0 right away, tells you the quality of our game. We had a commanding lead. Of course, St. Louis is a club that is having a lot of issues after being red hot in their opening or the rookie year. They have fallen out of grace hardly. And we just went considered two poor goals. First one, okay, you got also gotta give credit. The other teams filled in professional football players just like your team. The second one was just a very poor clearance. They should have never been, but it is what it is. And the disappointment of the night, to be honest with you, Ramiro Enrique deserved to have a hat trick, but the selfishness of Angulo robbed him of that. And also, quite possibly, had we not had a moment of brilliance from Marco Pasalic at the end, if probably we would have gone out of there with a point, maybe nothing. That's what happens when you shank opportunities that are served on a silver platter. But great game. Of course, everybody will remember this game because uh, Luis Muriel took his pants off, and I know a lot of people were like, "Why would he do that?" And I was like, "Let me translate as a Hispanic man." Basically, he got pulled down by the pants, so he took them off, saying, "If you want the pants, here have them." That's Latin American sarcasm for you. But yeah. By the way, a lot of people were saying if he took his pants off, how come he didn't never got a yellow? Which is a great argument. It's a great argument to have. If you take your shirt off and you get a yellow, why don't you get a yellow if you take your pants off? We're gonna have to take that to the FIFA powers. Um, Great. It was a great opportunity to go and get 3 points on the road. We definitely needed them. We sort of wash away the taste of having lost our last home game at home, and then gone into that huge track of inactivity. But in the end, it felt good. Two games in a row on the road. We got what we needed. Unfortunately for Orlando City, they are Western Conference teams, and when you win in those type of games, you only benefit yourself. You don't punish the opponent by dipping them in the table. So those 6 points that we got in these past 2 weeks were needed, but at the same time, they were not against teams in our conference. So it's not as great as if they would have been. Um, so not much to say. I know there was a lot of our supporters there. And my apologies to our let me find his name, because we had a listener of the show who moved to St. Louis 2 years ago, and he was at the game and he shared with us some video, and that is his account is Wenzen, Wenzen. So thank you, my man. I appreciate it. You took the video. I'm glad that you haven't seen the boys in 2 years, and they happen to be excuse me, they happen to be in your new city, and they gave you a win, 4-2 at that. So thank you very much for thinking of us and for listening and staying in contact with Orlando City. So that's all I have to say about the game. We win. We did what we had to do. Unfortunately, that did not translate it to what happened Saturday.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, Wednesday was a good game. Should have won it. Should have had that fifth goal, possibly even more early on, even before Angulo decided to be selfish. But it's the fact that Angulo still sees his start hasn't seen any threat to his starting job is worrisome. Because you look at our attack, you look at our two wingers, outside midfielders, whatever you want to call them. Everybody that's involved mainly in the attack. So we've got Muriel, we've got um, Atuesta, Ojeda, Marco. Um, who else am I missing? I'm missing somebody.
For the midfield, you got Rodriguez. You have you
No,
know.
no, that's been in the attack. Oh, Enrique. That's who I'm missing.
I'm sorry, brother. I lost your audio.
Can you hear me?
I can hear very, very. It's very, very low. All right. While John is fixing that, the beauty of the two-man crew. What we have there, the Pasalic was the star of the match for this past game. While John is doing that, I can tell you this. For those that follow our social media, you saw that we posted a video of me talking to two friends from Stevenage, Column um, and she's gonna kill me because I forgot her name. Uh, um, I have it at the tip of my tongue. Anyhow, this is what happens when you're not prepared.
All right, David.
Holly, I'm sorry, Holly.
Sorry.
Holly, my apologies. I can't, Anyhow, they they got engaged, so congratulations to them. And they're deep Stevenage fans. They travel home and away, and they have taken a liking for Orlando City. And Colin and I talk all the time, primarily about Stevenage, but he's always keeping tabs on the team. Bought himself I don't know, away jersey. He looked at the both and he's like, "Man, this one just," because I was telling them the story behind the three lions and the red collar and all that, and he's like, "This has history. I like that. That's the one I want." So for those people that keep clowning Orlando City and MLS because we have no history because we only been around less than 20 years. Well, there you go. Here's a man who is from the country that created this beautiful game, and he called it. This is history. This means something. That's the kid that I want. They experience the activities before the game, and if you want to know exactly what was said, go ahead and to our social media, specifically our YouTube channel. You can see it. It's a 6 minute video. It's not that long, and they said, hey, listen, football's football. It wasn't our day. The last three visits they had, they saw nothing but wins and a lot of goals. So they're like, well, it's just part of the football. We had a great time, and it was great entertainment. And to me, they said two things that I want you as an Orlando City fan to take with you. Number one is that the stadium was intimidating, and of course they're comparing the Lamex Stadium, Stevenage's home, that is a much smaller stadium, 8,500 seats, 8,500. Is the second smallest stadium in League One, English League One right now. So obviously our stadium is bigger, but they also said, the fans are supporting, are singing, are getting loud no matter what is happening on the pitch. And when you're running, when you're behind and you're fighting, the people never quit. Something at Stevenage, it's very reactive. If the team is doing bad, people will just shut up. That's how it is. Is it particular to our team? I don't think so. I've seen Stevenage play away. They go ahead, and the local fan base quiets down. So they were impressed by that. That we never quit supporting the club. So kudos to all of you that were at the stadium, because they took it as a good thing to have, that willingness to support your club no matter what. The other thing that they said that was very good was the fact that, and Holly was saying this, the fact that fans from opposite teams can sit there and be civil towards another, enjoy the team, enjoy the game, cheer for the teams without people getting physical or cursing or anything like that. And she said it. Look, in the UK, people are just aggressive, and that takes away from the event, what you're there for, to which is to have a good time. So again, I think the experience was pleasant for them to come a fourth time, and they even said it. Look, next time we come to Orlando, watching a game, it's a must for us. So as a fan base, you should be very proud of that. Should be very proud of our league and all that. Um, as far as the result, now that John, is your microphone good?
Yeah, can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah. Okay, fantastic, brother. So before I give the microphone to John, so he can give us a more in depth analysis, I have to say the first goal we could have done better. I was right behind goal. Obviously, John is gonna give you his perspective because he's looking at the setting from the opposite side. He actually noticed something that I didn't, because obviously my point of view is different. The ball, by the time Pedro gets to it, which he manages to catch the ball. The problem was the ball was completely over the line at that point. We could have done better about that. By the way, John reminded me that the Evander was the player that people were clamoring, Orlando, please go after that guy, please go after that, and we didn't. Who knows? Maybe we tried, and just the money wasn't there. And the other thing was we conceded a second goal that was very poor. But again, I get it. You put all the meat on the grill to go offensively, and one mistake, boom, they're gonna cash in. The goal by Pasalic, impressive, because it really there was nothing there. There was nothing there. The ball was gonna go out. Ramiro pushes it in, and then in his best Spider-Man impersonation, or what's that game that you touch things on the floor, with they're like circles with collars and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about?
Floor is
But
lava.
what's that?
The floor is lava.
No, no, no. It's a board game. You spin the thing, and wherever it lands, you gotta put your hand on the collar.
I
I
can't
know
remember
there's
what it's called.
there's people screaming at
I
their
know. You
phones
tell
right
us
now,
when so
John.
we stop looking like morons.
Yeah, yeah. Please do. I can't remember the name of it, but
I can see everything with it. I just can't think of the
I
name.
can't think of the name, and I'm gonna look it up because when I was in high school, that's the game they wanted to play with the girls that you liked. Okay, to be a little fresh here. But anyhow, in his best impersonation, yoga impersonation, Martino Ojeda just pushes that ball into the path of Pasalic, and he just nails it. Kissing the post. It was just beautiful. And okay, we got a comment. Maybe somebody knows what I'm talking
Twister,
about.
there you go. Thank you, Mister.
Wester, Misael coming, coming through, my guy. That's what's up, Twister. Good lord, I can't believe it. Thank you, my guy. Thank you. So that basically sums up the game. We tried And with this, I finish. I know David Breclo did not sleep that night or the night after that, and probably he was still staring at the void on the way to work this morning, because he literally had the tying goal in his boot. If you don't believe me, go watch the replay or the highlights. He just was too slow pushing the ball out, and instead of going to the goal, it went out of frame. But don't be deceived. Had we tied the game, the place would have gone into rapture. People would have been like, "Yeah, we got a point." Still, the point is you're playing at home. You gotta win. You laid an egg. Was the point gonna be a decisive factor later? Perhaps. But the reality is that, John, if we cannot beat the teams above the table, we have no business in the playoffs. I'm sorry to say that. And the
Absolutely.
fact is that we were at home. We had to win, especially when your last home game you lost. Your microphone.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go back to what I was talking about with the St. Louis match. As you look at I got the page I was looking for pulled up. You take the six players that the last 2-3 matches have been mainly in the attack. Angulo, Arujo, Atuesta, Pasalic, Enrique, and Ojeda. One of those players has the same number of assists as our goalkeeper. One of those players has the same number of goals as our goalkeeper and two center backs. And one of those players, Enrique, is an outlier because he comes on as a sub a lot, so his overall season foot mod rating is out of skew a little bit. But this other player starts every game, no matter what. I actually believe he's the leads the MLS right now for most consecutive starts. And that's Ivan Angulo. The fact that he continues to start after the selfishness that he has shown this entire year, starting at the beginning of the year when he was subbed off early and through that 2-year-old temper tantrum that he did, cost our team having 11, potentially could have cost our team the match by only being able to play with 10 men for 2 minutes because he was slow to come off the pitch. And then just his constant lack of final product, whether it's service, whether it's shooting the ball on target, whether it's making the correct pass, making the correct touch, whatever it is. Even in the match on Wednesday, everybody knows what happened where he should have given Ramiro the ball when you're 2v1 versus goalie versus the keeper. You suck the keeper out, pass it to the guy. The guy literally has 99% of the net to pass it into. The first goal, that by the way was a beautiful run of play by us, probably one of our best of the year. The way we got the ball circulated and got it down. In my opinion, he Ojeda bailed him out because he touched the ball 2 times too many. That should have been a 2-touch pass down to Ojeda. Instead, he took 3 or 4 touches and put it down. And that's, constant that he's doing stuff like that. Yeah, cool. He runs all over the field. He's a little bit fast. He isn't even the third fastest guy we have on the team now. And, you look at our team and there's one weak point in our team. And that's our left winger, left midfield, whatever position you want to say he plays. It's him. That's our biggest weakness in the team right now. And it shows. What did Cincinnati force us to do most of the match? Going into the Cincinnati match, Cincinnati wouldn't let our if Angulo got it on the left, they literally had one player out there in Yedlin, and he was probably their weakest defender, marking him, locked him down the entire match. And yes, he only played one half, but it's just what's it going to take to get him off the field so we actually have all 11 players of the same caliber, because he's not it. Whatever he had, whatever he's had a good run of good service to the club. He's filled the spot. 2 years ago when we had 3 years ago when we had nobody in that left wing spot, he came in, filled what we needed then. But you look at our team from, even on the bench, we are much better than we were 3 years ago. And in my opinion, starting lineup, it's not even comparable. We're so much better.
No, I'm
But
glad that you brought that up, brother, because this past week I was watching the Welcome to Wrexham documentary. Obviously, if you don't live under a rock, is about this Welsh team in the EFL pyramid that is making waves. And one of the things that they had to do was make difficult decisions. Some of the guys that they had signed to get them out of the National League into League Two, into League One, and now the Championship, they're parting ways with those guys because now perhaps those guys are not Championship material. Perhaps they are not producing like they used to. In fact, with Holly and Callum, I was talking about one of my favorite players, this guy Elliot List, who was a striker. He's moving on. He's moving on because he just had a season where he wasn't the guy of years past, and that's why I don't put names on jerseys. I'm not married to a particular style or manager or players because players come and go and the supporter remains. It's always been that way, and it will always be. That's why I'm sorry, I'm excited for those guys when they're here. I continue to follow them in their journey, as they move on through football and life after. But the reality to me is that if we're not willing to grow or change, we're always gonna be the same. And as you guys know, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Oscar Pareja, in my book, in my opinion, has been a manager that has been willing to change with the times. He's gone from the Papi special dude to a guy that has a team that can score multiple goals, that is aggressive, that is fast, this, that, and the other. Where our weaknesses are is if you score first on us, it's very difficult for us to get back. Okay, and to me, the teams that used to do that were the Adrian team, the Adrian Heath teams, and we haven't seen that since. We have to score first, otherwise the best we can do is a tie. If we can manage to keep the other team at bay, and then the other thing is that I think the fan base at this point, 11 seasons into the league, 10 years since we made the jump to MLS, it's expecting results. We cannot go, especially after the year that we had last year where we managed to overlap any expectation by anybody that has common sense, because what we did last year violated any common sense, any rule in this league, any statistics. We had no business being on the conference final and losing it, even worse than that. But the fact is that there's a lot of questions to be asked this off season, independently of where we finish, because there's some players that we need to move from, because and I don't want to mention names because who am I? In the past, I have mentioned names. People get upset. Oh, David, what if somebody was asking for your job? So I don't want to strike the fires of because people, like I said, people get attached emotionally to players and all that. And again, it's entertainment, and players age. One day you're gonna have to say goodbye to the Viking. One day we're gonna have to say goodbye to the Taxman. One day we're gonna have to say goodbye to your favorite player, because football is a industry of results, just like your job, my job, results. If tomorrow I stop producing for my employer, I'm gonna find myself out of a job. And in football, is a league, is a business where as you age, you produce less and less and less. So not like I have called it before. Not everybody can be Zlatan. Not everybody can be Messi. Not everybody can be Ronaldo playing deep into their 40s. The fact is that if we want to lift trophies and we want to win, we have to spend the money. I think we have played Moneyball for far too long, And I know that Ricardo and Luis have done beautifully and wonderfully, but at some point we have to give these savages that packed 655 West Church Street every game day. We have to give them a trophy. And you can say, oh well, we had the Open Cup. I'm gonna be honest with you. The Open Cup just made it worse because now people have seen that the team can lift a trophy. Pride already managed to do that. And how did Pride manage to do that? Oh, that's right. They went and got some really badass players. Excuse my language for the little guys. That's what they did. They just went and bought some, Barbara Band. I mean, come on, with Marta, a deadly combination. But what do we? Who in our club is the male version of Barbara Banda? Because when we had guys that were gonna take us to that level, we sold them. Daryl Dike, we sold them. And and you could argue, oh well, the guy's being hurt all the time. Okay, well, at the time we didn't know that. We just knew he was very good. Everybody kept saying, sell the guy, sell the guy. So we did. And then you have, Duncan, who unfortunately has been running into some injuries. Duncan is only here, and I say it all the time, because somebody can't make the difference between send and save. Otherwise, Duncan would have been gone, because he would have gone to England, he would have done his thing, and he would have been gone too. So, and I finish with this. We have to also understand the limitations of some of our players. And I said that I wasn't gonna mention names, but I gotta do it in this case because it's not an attack on this player. It's just pointing out the obvious. Ramiro Enrique is a fantastic footballer, but Ramiro Enrique suffers from the same condition that I suffer. We're short people, and that's the way it is. And while he's super talented, speedy, fantastic ball control, he doesn't have the height. And many times he loses air duels just because of that. And if Urchin Kara had the gifts that Ramiro Enrique had, we probably, I guarantee you, we'll be winning the league at this point. And crowning ourselves champions in July. But the fact is that I got to see that firsthand because I was sitting row D, right on the south side. I was up close and personal with these guys. I could just look at the white in their eyes. And I can tell you that that's exactly what's happening here. And Luis Muriel, incredibly talented player, but Father Time is undefeated, and we got to see that last Saturday. So we have a combination of players underperforming and players that unfortunately are not the whole package. So what I would like to see Orlando do in the offseason is I would like for us to get a true number nine, somebody as talented as Ramiro Enrique, somebody with the experience, not the experience, but because obviously experience comes with age. So I don't want another old player, but we need to go and find ourselves a true number nine that can deliver, because I feel that the whole montage of our club is there, but we don't have a Kyle Laren, we don't have a Dom Dwyer, we don't have a Kevin Molino, those huge guys that scored tons of goals for us in the past, a Daryl Deacon. We don't have that guy right now that can go out there and just win us games by the will of just being there at the right time. And I finish with this. If you don't believe me, watch the highlights of Daryl Deacon against DC at home.
Or Nashville.
Yes. But you remember, the goal that I'm talking about, brother. When he basically we won it on a corner kick at the death. At the death. The stadium wanted to fall into pieces. When was the last time we managed to do that? Either when we win or when we lose, the result is sealed by the ADF man. What happened to the cardiac cats? What happened to this never say never? What happened to the guys that scored two goals in 90 seconds to tie when they were down 2 goals in the home opener of 2016. The reality, and I'm sorry, John, I went on a rant. I didn't mean to. The reality is that we need to find that spice once more, because you know what, you could be a great defender and a great goalkeeper, but the fact is that people are going to watch football for the goals. That's why the striker always gets the glory. And and we need to find us somebody that can score goals. And you may say, David, we went to St. Louis, scored 4 goals. Yeah, it was St. Louis. What happened to, what's going to happen when we play Columbus or Philadelphia, or Miami or any other? This we have to, because otherwise what they expect us is that meme of Grandpa Simpson coming into the bar, taking his hat on, putting it back on, walking out, because that's what's gonna happen in the playoffs. I don't want that. I want to win. I want to win now.
Yeah, I mean, with Enrique, I completely agree with you with his lack of size, but that just leads into what I was saying about our situation at left winger. Why not try him at left wing, left midfielder? The dude already tracks back as a striker on defense. Why not see what he has at left wing? See what he can do. He's fast. He has very very good skill dribbling the ball, especially when Duncan comes back. And then if we need a goal, then move him in the striker if Muriel's tired or Duncan's tired or you just want to play with a three-back system and you bring somebody in for one of our fullbacks or something like that. That gives you a lot more options than just saying, oh, we signed him and he was marketed as a number 9. He's staying at the number 9. And you also brought up something too. I'd love to see what Kara would do with this group of players that we have now, with the service that our strikers are getting. I mean, look, we got what, 2 players that are going to score, at least 2 players that are going to score 10 plus goals this season with Pasalic and Ojeda. Um, you know, Muriel may get there. He's already at 6. We got Ojeda, Atuesta, and Pasalic with that should reach double digit assists. So we have the firepower there. We have the firepower to score a lot of goals. I feel like right now we're just so much weaker on that left side because we have a defensive minded fullback and we have an inept left winger on the attack. But let's backtrack because we missed the team of the match days for the St. Louis match last Wednesday. I flash them out there periodically um, when my microphone went down. But team of the match day was Atuesta and Enrique, with Marco being on the bench. I don't know how Marco was on the bench, but he was.
Yeah, I know.
Um, just put that down to being, him playing for Orlando. Um, but yeah, so let's move on to Cincinnati now. A lot to unpack in this match. Um, we lost 2-1. To me, to put it, without any context, it was your typical Orlando City versus anybody above us on the table, or anybody seated ahead of us in the playoffs or near us in the playoffs. I mean, you look at how we've played typically against teams like this the last 2 or 3 years, or in our playoff exits, it's been exactly like this. 1 or 2 silly mistakes cost us. That first goal they scored by Evander, me and my friends that I'm next to in the wall, we had a perfect view of it. We saw Evander and whoever else there was lining up in front of the kick, and you saw Evander say something. And with his body language, it was obvious saying, I'm shooting this, because he came away from that little conversation completely different. You saw Gillespie, somewhere over near Daytona Beach, trying to protect the goal. Why you're there as a goalkeeper is beyond me, especially when there's a player that that's of the quality that Cincinnati has taking their free kicks. Too many missed opportunities. I know we had three big chances throughout the match. Didn't convert on any of them. Obviously, everybody's going to talk about Breckalo's miss there at the end. It's the end of the match. Shouldn't, I always say, what about the goals that we missed, beginning of the match? Only having 3 shots on target out of 17 shots starts it. We only had, I think if I recall, I looked, it was 5 or 6 shots inside of their box. We didn't play terrible. There was just nothing in our final third to finish on that or quality in the final third to finish with. And then that kind of brings me to the next thing I want to talk about is the manner at which Cincinnati was playing the dark arts. I'm all for, not all for, but I understand time wasting. We do the same. We've done the same thing the last 3 years to Cincinnati at their place. We're up by a goal. We're going down. We're acting like we're hurt. All that. The difference is we're not faking head injuries where the referee has to immediately stop the match. To me, you do
I
it.
agree.
That should be a warning. You do, whoever on the team does it a second time, that should be a red card to that player and a red card to their coach. There's no. I brought that up to my friend Luke that I'm almost always next to in the wall. As a defender, since there's really seemingly no punishment for it, and the other team's attacking, and a ball comes and hits you near the head area, why don't you just go down holding your head, acting like it's a head injury, like Cincinnati did? It stopped the attack, stopped the momentum of the attack. I mean, there was the one that we had it between the edge of the penalty area and the touch line, and Cincinnati goes down, and we have to restart our attack with a drop ball because he went down with a head injury. There has to be some sort of punishment. I hope that.
Well, John, if you have a head injury, my understanding is you have to like step to the side and wait till the do the protocol and they bring you back in. That's the reason
That's
that
the
the reason
trainer.
why we have the protocol is to prevent what happened Saturday, where people are faking injuries
Mm-hmm.
for a
Bring up
advantage, and it just happened and happened and happened, and then not for nothing, God forbid, you actually have a real one, then the opposing team is most likely to continue playing, or the ref may ignore it. The reason why we have the protocol is so when we actually have injuries, we stop.
Yep.
Okay, because if you want to play those games, then hey, if I actually don't have an injury, I'm gonna leave my team down a man. Maybe I don't need to do that. I rarely blame refs for losses unless they're egregious. Um, there was a lot of that. We could have had a penalty that was not given because there was a foul before that.
And I'm going to stop you right there, David. Did you watch the replay?
Uh,
The
I,
full replay?
yeah, briefly. Go ahead, brother.
Did you see where was the foul on that? Because all I saw was two FC Cincinnati players run into each other.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Now that you mentioned that, I didn't see one. I went to see if where was this phantom uh panel not penalty but foul. When you interrupted me, I'm like, oh, okay, John found it. That's what I
No,
said. Okay, you go ahead and tell me. But if you didn't see one, I didn't see one. The other one, I actually watched the post game interviews, and I did not know that the foul that led to the free kick that they scored on for the first goal was highly contested. A lot of people were like, I don't think that was a foul, and Paslich said, well, we take full responsibility on that goal simply because we were arguing with the ref. We lost track of what we were there for, which was to defend, and we lost focus, and they beat us. So I'm glad that he understands that what happened, and that they, as a team, they are going to work on not allowing that to happen again. But overall, it was just some defensive mistakes that at the end of the day, they pile on. Defensive mistakes are like a snowball, And yeah, again, we could have done better. I felt, and besides, if you want to, and like I told John before we started recording, last year Atlanta did us a favor, eliminated the favorites, Miami, to win the game, win the championship, and then you had Red Bulls, slaying dragons. So we got into the final simply because teams 1, 2, and 3 were out of it, already out of it, right? And so which makes it even worse that a team that was below us beats us at home, and we failed to lift the trophy because of that reason.
Mhm.
So I
And
think
going
that
back to that situation with the phantom foul and that there was no, the handball couldn't be called because the foul was called before that and everything. If you look at that, and I saw it in real time, and then came home and immediately watched the first half replay because I wanted to see and make sure my eyes didn't deceive me. Miazga grabbed one of our players by the throat, and the scuffle that happened after that grabbed Pasalic by the throat.
in the same way that Araujo earned a yellow red card.
No, to me it was completely different because he was faced. They were chest to chest like this, and Araujo, to me, with the Araujo red card, he tried to reach for the guy and grabbed his neck instead of grabbing his shoulder. This one was Miazga and Pasalic were like, face to face, and Miazga went and reached out just like that and grabbed him in the neck.
Ah, please.
But no card, no talking to, not even a yellow card. Instead, our guy gets a yellow card and Yedlin gets a yellow card. Like, give me,
Nah.
this is what I was talking about. I said when it happened with Araujo, said there's going to be another time this year, at least one other time, where one of our guys' necks get grabbed and nothing's going to get done with it. Proof in there. And then you go to the end of the match. Cincinnati was down. I timed it on my TV last night when I watched the second half. From you count the time Cincinnati went down, 4 minutes and 20 seconds from the ref stopping play to the ref resuming play. There should have been at least 4 extra minutes, 4 to 4.5 extra minutes of stoppage time at the end of that match for Cincinnati playing the dark arts, but the ref stopped at a 10:02 or something like that.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Mismanagement of the match. Just I say it all the time to my dad. Mainly, I say it because I'm a son and I know it drives my dad nuts. But everybody watching this show and everybody, everybody that follows Orlando City just goes to show again year after year. Um, the referees are and the league is against Orlando City. The fact that we got the break that we did last week or last year in the playoffs is shocking. And we it just goes to show every year that in a game in, game out, that the referees are against Orlando City, and when it comes down to a time for the refs to do something to help Orlando, giving Miazga a yellow card for making contact in the head neck area intentionally,
Mm-hmm.
it just goes to show that we're it happens too often, in my opinion. And I'm not one to blame the refs. Obviously we had our chances. The team had things that we could have done differently on Saturday, done better on Saturday to win. So I'm not at all saying the referee didn't lost us the game basically, or blaming the referee for the loss. But when you continually start a player that is underperforming based off what the rest of the team is doing, you continually go up against these teams, these better teams in the league, and lose because you're making mistakes, either being overly aggressive on the attack, overly conservative, and not attacking. There has to be that happy medium there in football and soccer where you're attacking just right and defending just right. And it seems like this team, for whatever, and this isn't just this year, the last 3 years, especially when we're down or tied, loses that balance. Their second goal came because we lost that balance. I mean, Brecalo did all he could on that. Um, Gillespie could have done a little better on that. Janssen could have stepped over and helped a little bit better on that. But again, we were caught out pushing too far upfield, and their, you know, center attacking midfielder had a 1v3 with and the goalie, 1v2 and the goalie, and he ended up scoring, through skill alone. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping we make a move in July to strengthen our team. We're gonna have to make moves in the winter to strengthen our team because we know Freeman's going to be gone. We know Duncan. There's another chance that he may be gone this year if he comes back from his injury. I think later next in July, if he comes back and lights the field on fire again, because he started doing that this year too. If you guys remember before his shoulder went bad again,
Yep.
he started putting goals in, and if we got a somebody on that left side that could really help our attack, not even a Pasalic help, because what Pasalic has done is incredible. I mean, he might be the best signing that we've ever had, and that's even up against Nani and Kakab with the impact he's made. Just somebody that is, I can't think of the word. Just somebody that can do what a left midfielder, left winger is supposed to do, and have some sort of end quality, and have more than one assist through 20 matches. Pretty sure that was a hockey assist too, because they
Yeah.
never get those in the league. Um, this team, I like our chances. You hear how every analyst talks about our team and our depth and our quality of our designated players who we've been crying since this, me and David started doing the show. We need production from our designated players. Well, you look at the stats, and our top three scorers are our three designated players. Ojeda with 9, Pasalic with 9, and Muriel with 6. And you look at our, top assists. 2 of the 3 are our designated players with Ojeda and Marco and Pasalic. Ojeda has 6 and Marco has 4.
Yeah, the
Muriel,
one thing that we never had, John, is three DPs on fire at the same time. We always have one, we have two, we never have all three. And going to what your dad is talking about, if you don't mind reading that.
yeah, Saturday was all about execution. OC finishing, lack of finish was the reason for the loss. Yeah,
No, I agree 1,000%.
what I said earlier, we had 3 big chances. If you look at the stats from this past week, um, that's what it shows. We had 3 big chances. I'm bringing them up now on the screen. We had 17. We had 2.19 expected goals, 17 shots, 3 goals on target, 3 big chances, 3 big chances missed. You know, that's we had more corners than Cincinnati. We had a lot more passes than Cincinnati. We had, it's there's we dominated the match except for that final product. That final product in our attack. We had
I agree.
167 more passes than Cincinnati, and still had a 7%, almost had a 90% accurate passing rate.
I agree 1,000%, man. But there's a lot of reasons why Orlando City can do better. Once again, we this coming up Saturday, we're away against Charlotte. Charlotte comes in after losing 3-2 in Chicago, so they're not doing that well themselves. They're 10th on the table. On paper, Orlando City can go and win this game because Charlotte is, amazingly, Charlotte at one point was leading the East, and they've been tumbling down since. This is a game that you gotta win. You gotta win it because if you, at this point of the season, if you don't start racking up points, you are not gonna make the playoffs. And I already told you guys, you gotta be in playoff position by June 1st. Well, guess what? June 1st we were in playoff position, which we weren't last year. We still made the playoffs. For only team that has done that in 20 years. Now that we did that, are we gonna be the first team in 20 years or 21 years to be in playoff position in June 1st and then fall out of them? We could do that too. We just gotta win. We gotta beat Charlotte. We have to do that simply because we have to. They're not doing so hot. They practically play a similar style like ours. The only difference is they are a team that if you score first, they rarely come back from that. And it's gonna be a very hostile environment. Charlotte, they're gonna pack the house. Their fan base do show up when they play Atlanta, they play Miami, they play Nashville, they play Orlando because they see those teams as their natural rivals because we are from the same part of the country. It's not that far, and I expect a lot of Orlando City fans to be there in attendance. Charlotte is near a lot of military bases, so we have a lot of Orlando City fans serving their nation, and this is their one chance to go to the Olympics live. So I expect a lot of Orlando City fans there. Like I said, it has to be a win regardless. It has to be a win, and we gotta, the like Pastor said, the best way to forget a loss is to go and win a game. To quote him, that's what we need to do. Any expectations about Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it should be a win based on the way we played a month and a half ago.
Your mic. Oh, there you go.
We completely dominated them.
Ah,
My mic messing up again.
yeah. Still, sorry, brother.
That's all right. I'll get it fixed. Just take over for a couple minutes.
Okay. So while John is doing that, I got I would like to remind everybody that we can be found on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitch, on Blue Sky at United Minutes Podcast. Also, you can watch us on YouTube, and you can listen to us on audio or whatever you consume your audio podcast. As you can see,
Is that better,
uh,
David? Can
yeah,
you hear
that's
me?
better. Go ahead, brother. Take it over.
Perfect. I'm gonna have to get a new mic here soon because obviously it's just 2 weeks in a row I've had microphone issues. But based on the way we played Atlanta or played Charlotte a month and a half ago, we should easily beat them. It was a match that we absolutely dominated. We won 3-1. Muriel Ojeda and Enrique were the goal scorers. Zaha scored their one goal. He had a moment of individual, brilliance. Other than that, he was too busy crying to the referee for, you know, phantom fouls. Yeah, Charlotte's, like you said, not had the greatest of times really since starting with when we beat them. I think they were fourth on the table when we beat them. They've dropped all the way down to 10th now. They've given up, 34, scored 32. Um, there's no reason, the excuse of the boys are tired is out the window now. We played, 3 matches in 21 days or 25 days or something like that. So there's that excuse is out the window. We have a full week's rest and we're not traveling across country. Yes, we're still missing Alex Freeman, but again, the depth that we have on our team with Dagger Dan playing on the right hand side, which I can tell him and Marco are still trying to get used to each other over there. There were some mix-ups, this past week with that, but they seem to be sorting it out, seem to be getting used to each other over there in the game. So, it's going to be a good match. It's a different kickoff time this week. It's a 7:15 instead of 7:30. That's because it's on FS1. So it's a, match the MLS is highlighting. We haven't done the greatest against them, in recent times. I guess last year, actually. Well, no, it's the playoffs. My bad. In regular season, I'm trying to find our. There we go. Regular season, we have 4 wins, 4 draws, and 2 losses. So we've only played them 10 times. Two of the, and that's only in the league. Um, Two of those losses came a while ago. For some reason, I thought we had struggled against them the last couple of years, but we really haven't. Last
We
year,
have done very well. I mean, we have our problems with them for a short season. And my apologies. Ivy found that the microphone is squishy. Try to fight with her for it. But your dad had another comment that highlights some of the inabilities that we had.
yeah, he said, "Well, I think the difference was ability, inability to finish. The biggest impact on that was Noonan is at least 1.5 times the coach is Poppy."
Yeah, like I was telling you, man, we have to win because when we come back, we're gonna have two. We're gonna have a Saturday and Wednesday games. So at home, so it's imperative that we win these games because after that we're gonna go to the Leagues Cup recess.
Yeah, after Saturday, like David was saying, just since the month is starting to begin, obviously we have Charlotte Saturday. Then we have home against Montreal, home against New York City, um, away in New England, and away in Columbus. And then Leagues Cup starts um, on July 30th, where we're technically away to Nacional, Universidad Nacional. Um, and then we're into August. But Leagues Cup, all the games are at home. Are going to be at Exploria Stadium. It's going to be a little bit different, for those that didn't go last year or didn't go, haven't been to a Leagues Cup match. They play both teams, goal anthems and all of that. So it's a little bit strange. Um, yeah, we have in Leagues Cup. We go the first match, and then we play Atlas, and then we play Necaxa, and then on August 6th, and then right after that's the Sunday, August 10th match against Little Brother down south.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the differences between this year and years past is rather than play a crappy MLS team and some low league uh, Liga MX side, we're playing very good teams, powerhouses in that league. So it's a good possibility we're not gonna come out of the group. Personally, unless we play in Mexico, the value of the cup is very low for me. If we win it, great. If we don't, so what? My focus is MLS Cup at this moment. For that reason alone. I know our friends down south put a lot of stock into their Leagues Cup win simply because, well, Messi and all that, which rumors are saying that he may be leaving soon, not soon enough
which we
for
which
me.
we all called on this show last year when he or 2 years ago when he came into the league that he was going to only have a couple. He's only going to be here for 2, maybe 3 years. And just to clarify, the July 30th that team I didn't realize until I clicked on the match because I thought we played Pumas. That is Pumas.
Yeah, it's Pumas. Their official name is Universidad something something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my apologies that I try to respect the names of the clubs, especially Pumas, who has been a perennial champion in Liga MX, a team that certainly has more history than ours. So I I'm struggling with a toddler in one hand, so you forgive me for that. The one thing that I wanted to say is there's a factor that nobody's talking about is that Miami has like 4 or 5 games at hand,
Yes.
and they might be the dark horse if they start winning. uh, the teams that are 4, 5, and 6 may not be as safe as the table seems to appear at the moment. So that's why it's important that we go win games, and this starting with this Saturday. And to the people that are like, oh well, we need to win at home, and yes, absolutely, we need to win at home. But just because of that doesn't mean that we have to go and lay an egg in Charlotte. It's time for us to get those 3 points because we need it, man. We can't We can be like a toddler saying, if it's not chicken nuggets, I don't want to eat. Food is food. So and 3 points are 3 points. And to quote our friend Alex Brown from Orlando Lions, then 3 points at the beginning of the season and 3 points at the end are 3 points.
Yeah, and I was going to, you mentioned the table. I was going to bring that up too. We're still only 7 points off of first, which is Philadelphia. They have 40. Cincinnati, with their win against us, jumps up to 39. Nashville has 38. Columbus has 37. Then below us is Miami with 29, so they're 4 points behind. But they also have 4 matches in hand against us. Um, then behind them, tied on points, is New York Red Bulls. Then 28 points with a game in hand. The top 5 teams, including us, all have played 20 matches. And then you go below us, and it's mixed match. How many everybody's played? Uh, New York, uh, New York City FC and Chicago Fire are tied with 28 points. Both have a game in hand. Charlotte FC has 25 points. New England Revolution has 24, but they have 2 games in hand. DC United has 18. Toronto and Atlanta are tied with 17 points, and they both have a game in hand. And Montreal is in last place in the East with 14 points. So, it's going to be Miami's got a ton of matches the last, what are we, 2.5 months, 3 months until the end of the season now, um, that they have to make up because of, their gifting of the Club World Cup, and then the Champions Cup, and all of that they've had.
Oh, they got a ton of mileage on their legs, man. I don't know
Yeah.
what's gonna happen to them.
So we've seen how they've fallen off the last 2 years late in the season. With their stars missing a bunch of time. So we'll see what happens with them. Everybody else, like I said, kind of 1 or 2 games in hand. You know, so we
Are they playing
we
Leagues
have
Cup,
an
by the way?
advantage. What's that?
John, are they playing Leagues Cup?
Miami?
Yeah.
I will look real quick. I believe every MLS team's playing League Cup.
No, they chose some teams to play Open Cup, others Leagues Cup, and
They're
others
playing, they're,
obviously.
play, they're in the, what the heck? They're in the same group as us?
Really?
Unless FootMob messed up, but that's what it's showing.
Well, I haven't looked into it. If they are, man,
Unless they're changing it, how they're doing it. But yeah, it shows them playing basically the reverse schedule of what we're playing, where they start with Atlas, then they play Necaxa, then they play Pumas.
Misael sent some messages. If you don't mind reading those.
Yeah, no, he just said away to Pumas, his first Leagues Cup game. This is through our group text. And then he also said on our group text, San Diego just coming in and being first in the West is wild. I didn't even realize they were first in the West, to be honest with you. Yeah, they're first. San
Yeah,
Diego.
I saw that today. I was like, oh wow. But yeah, whatever happens, it shall be interesting. Wanna thank everybody that watched us live tonight. Everybody's gonna watch this later, and everybody that will listen to this later. Shorthanded tonight, and of course, it sucks talking about a loss, but it is part of the beautiful game. Next Monday we'll definitely we're gonna be talking about hopefully a win. I wanna remind everybody that this the end of this week we're gonna be celebrating the 249th birthday of our nation, and I gotta tell you, as a bicentennial baby, it reminds me that I'm getting old. I I gotta tell you, our country is not perfect, but is the best there is. Is our home, and we gotta protect it and we gotta cherish it. I never put political stock or value into our national symbols or how great of a country we have. I don't think there's the perfect country exists. So this 4th of July, if you choose to celebrate, let's take a moment to remember those who died to give us that freedom, that joy to pursue happiness, and just let's be kind to one another. Let's do what the good book says. In Hebrew is "Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha." Love your neighbor as yourself. So I think if we apply that, we're just gonna be better people. And that's the message I want to send to you guys. So thank you, John, for being there for me tonight. Hopefully, our good friend Misael is gonna feel better next week, and the big man behind the controls, our good friend Ahmed, will be with us. Again, it's rare that Orlando City is not playing at home on the 4th of July. So hopefully we can snatch those 3 points in Charlotte. I'm gonna be taking a trip with my family down south to enjoy the holiday. Somebody wants to snatch my ear here if you're watching on video and not my glasses. So, John, final words, my friend.
Kind of like my dad said, just win. I mean, we're getting late in the season now. October 18th is our last match, so we're getting down the home stretch. Less, or over the halfway point now of the season. It's time to put our grown up pants on and start taking care of business in these matches. Stop dropping, making silly mistakes and dropping points like we did on Saturday.
Sure, for sure, my friend. So we're gonna cut it short. Thank you guys for everything, and we're gonna say goodbye to you guys the only way we know how, by reminding you that football is not played on paper but on grass. That football is cruel and unpredictable. That football is a pound of talent and an ounce of luck. And if you haven't cried for joy or anger over football, have you really football? From myself, John, and I guess Ivy here. May God bless you. And as always, vamos, Orlando!